Welcome everyone to the 14th annual Rio Grande Valley International Poetry Festival. This is our last event of the festival. And let me tell you, it's been inspiring. It's been full of surprises. It's brought people from all over the world. Due to COVID, you know, it's brought everyone into the same room. Our 4-day festival usually does bring people from all over and brings them here to the Rio Grande Valley in person. And we usually have it in two countries, Mexico and here, South Texas, and all over the valley. And then on usually Saturday is when we have the poetry pachanga, where we, have the dinner and everyone reads. The Boundless anthology is usually done on a Thursday to kick off the festival, but we did things a little differently this year, and we had workshops, we had literary press showcases, and so we had a featured writer in Luis Alberto Urrea to help us kick off the event on Thursday with a talk and just what we call a charla, plática, which is really fun, kind of chill, laid back before we get started. And then we had our poets who read our featured poets. Kai Coggin was here, Michael Rothenberg was here, Sandy Suri is here actually right now from India. Kai Coggin represented the Philippines and the US. Michael Rothenberg represented the US. Sandy represents India. Esther M. Garcia represents Mexico. Julio Serrano Echeverria represents Guatemala. Matthew Revert, our Boundless cover designer, and he will also. It's a treat because we'll have some of his artwork in between the pages, and he's our featured artist, and he's from down under in Australia. Taufik Ayeyemi is our featured artist from Nigeria. Susan Justiniano, Rescue Poetics, is New Jersey and our Jersey City Poet Laureate, and she represents Puerto Rico and Jersey and the US, right? And then Matt Cedillo out of California. And so after that, we had a workshop by Odilia Galvan Rodriguez, who is also here, publisher of Prickly Pear Publishing, and her workshop was on the sacred, mundane, the ordinary can be extraordinary. That was a wonderful workshop. We all got some great stuff out of that. I wrote a couple of poems in that workshop. Then we had our first literary press reading by Lamar University Press with Catherine Hirth, the editor-in-chief, and they read from Odes and Elegies, poetry from the Texas Gulf Coast. And I think I saw a few readers from that here right now. Loretta Diane Walker, I believe, is here, and we also had a workshop on The Personal is Political by Matt Cedillo on Friday. And then we had a workshop the following morning on Saturday with Rodney Gomez, the McAllen Poet Laureate, on Speaking Through Image, a visual poetry workshop. And then that was followed by Michael Rothenberg's The Poetic Journal. Michael Rothenberg, our featured poet, is founder of 100,000 Poets for Change. And then we had the poetry and authorship preliminary considerations for new poets with our Nigerian featured poet, Taofik Ayeyemi. And after that, Rescue Poetics put on a great workshop on artist entrepreneur fundamentals, which is great for knowing how to take care of yourself as an artist and create a business in what you do, and being able to use your persona to create opportunities. And then after that, we had Selena A. Gomez from down here in the Rio Grande Valley, and she's an educator, and she had a workshop called Speak It, a generative and performance workshop for healing. After that, we had Julio Serrano Echeverria from Guatemala put on a Spanish workshop on documental poetry, which was wonderful. I mean, it was. I took so many pictures of that, and I'm hoping to do another workshop with him in the future. And you could follow our Rio Grande Valley International Poetry Festival Facebook page, so you could continue to see more events that we'll be putting on throughout the year. Not only that, but for our new call for submissions for next year, and any and all the new stuff that we're going to be working on throughout the year, not just for the excuse me, poetry festival. Give me one second. All right, so and then after that, we had our registered poets reading, and that was a treat also. That was exciting for all of the registered poets. They had an opportunity to read amongst other poets that had registered. And the great thing about the being a registered poet and even just a registered community member, you have full access to the Zoom activities, whereas those that didn't register have access to all the events online as they get fed live on the Facebook feed. But there's more interaction when you're registered, because you have the Zoom capabilities to be there and ask questions to the authors. And then on this morning, we had the Art of the Short Poem, a workshop presented by Japanese American IPC. He goes by IPC, and he gave us a great workshop on the short poem and explained um, the different styles of haiku and the different types of short poetry that's practiced. And then after that, that was the last of our workshops. We went on to our author showcases, and then we went to the literary press showcases with A la Brava Press out of San Antonio, and they featured their poets from their press. And then Gnashing Teeth Publishing, Aslan Libre Press followed up. Get Fresh Books Publishing from New Jersey followed with that, and we send our love to Roberto Carlos Garcia, that he heals fast. We send him love and energy. Um, he's getting over the COVID. And then we followed that with the final showcase of Flower Song Press and their authors, who there's a couple here, if not two or three. And welcome back to that. Welcome back to the anthology reading. So thank you. As you can see, there was a lot of events going on, and we're so excited. And I'm so happy for the turnout that we have now for this anthology reading. I thank you all for being here. Daniel Garcia Ordaz, I thank you. Brenda Riojas couldn't make it. Thank her. I want to thank my wife. I want to thank my daughter for just being so supportive. And like I said earlier, um, I'm the one that's here, Sandy, but she's been supplying me with so much energy, with water and coffee, and she's making me a hot tea. I swear, I'm like, and the thing with me is that I'm such a fan of the poets and the words that I don't want to miss anything. Even though I'm recording, I don't want to. She says he doesn't get up at all.
He does the workshops too.
I do the workshops too. So I'll get off the screen, and I'll go to the restroom real fast and then run back, and I'm like, put it on loud. If I could run with the computer, I would. But that just shows that I care about everything, and that's going on with you all. And so I'm excited to hear you all tonight. And again, thank you to Odilia Galvan Rodriguez for your support. I want to thank Gabriel Gonzalez Nunez. I don't think he's here. He did the editing for the Spanish section of the poetry that came in. Sarah Joy Thompson, I want to thank you for your hard work also, and all the back and forth, and hey, here's some more poems, and hey, here's another batch of poems, and just when she thought it was over, here's another batch of poems, and they just kept coming in and in and in and in and you know, I'm sure you're gonna think twice if I ever ask you to edit again. It's just a lot of work, but it was but again, you know, you have to it was fun. I would think so. But thank you again. Thank you all again. So I'm going to ask Sarah to say a few words. If you want to read the intro to Boundless, that'd be great. And this is what will appear in the anthology, and it's both in English and in Spanish. With she worked together a lot with Gabriel in this anthology in going over both the English and Spanish poetry. I myself worked with some of the poetry that came in, but not the bulk of it. I did all of the youth poetry, so they did the major work in what we're doing here now. So Sarah, I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to let you take.
Okay, it's good to be here, y'all. I wanted to hop in and show my support. I actually have allergies right now, but I didn't want to miss this final event. And I wanted to show my support to Edward for all his hard work. And so I'm just going to read the introduction. As the Rio Grande Valley International Poetry Festival kicks off its 14th annual celebration, we as co-editors look forward to showcasing the work of the authors who contributed to this year's anthology, Boundless 2021. The purpose of this anthology, like the festival itself, has been to connect writers from around the globe, as many artists and poets are brought face to face through each page of poetry. When COVID-19 struck in early 2020, the festival directors adapted, taking on the task of working around a virtual environment and adopting more of a virtual nature for the events and festivities. Now in 2021, the festival again will take place online, perhaps because of the essential value of poetry. Not even a global pandemic kept the festival from missing a beat. It was truly an honor to read the work that the contributing authors shared with the anthology in terms of the diverse tones, registers, and themes. After careful reading and weighing, we selected the works that stood out, the pieces that sparked something within, that carried power and space to uplift those who endured through the hardships of a year-long pandemic, and namely pieces with a coherent flow, beginning, middle, end. There were also works that ignited emotion, celebrated the many facets of human nature, and portrayed a clear voice and point of view. We wanted as many poems as possible that held water, so we gladly accepted work from new and emerging voices, along with work from seasoned writers. For these reasons, it is fitting that the festival's anthology be titled Boundless. Boundless as in having no bounds, as in having no limits, boundless, limitless, horizonless. The anthology is all of these things. The poems represent all of these things, and so do the poets who wrote them. Some of the poets hail from different parts of Mexico and the United States, as one would expect from an anthology born in the borderlands between those two countries. In that spirit, we accepted poems in both English and Spanish. Even so, our poets come not just from these two countries, but also from lands as different as Cyprus and El Salvador, India and Nigeria. They represent all of humanity in its boundless races, limitless worldviews, and horizonless experiences. We trust you will enjoy reading these voices as much as we enjoyed receiving all of the poems and creating these wonderful selections for you. So grab a cup of hot chocolate or coffee or tea or what have you, get comfortable in your favorite place around the house, and dive into Boundless 2021.
Thank you, Sarah. That was a wonderful introduction. Again, I can't wait for you all to have your your book in hand. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go um, in order of what I have here. No particular order, just what I have here, just because I can scratch off names and it's a lot simpler. But I'm excited. I hope you are. And someone asked earlier if they could read in Spanish. Of course, you're going to read the poem that was accepted. Now, some of you have more than one poem accepted in the anthology. Let's because of the amount of people that are here. Let me see. What do you say? One or two poems? I think there are all the poems, maybe one. Let's do one poem because I'm looking at everybody that's here. Let's do one poem, and like I said, we're gonna have more readings. So just everybody, if you can, put yourselves on mute, and like that, we leave the screen for the speaker. Okay. Let's see. Give me 1 second. All right. So I know you're on mute, but you still show. Um, okay, so our first reader of the night I'm introducing is Sandra Dolores Gomez Amador.
Yeah. Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I am going to read the first poem that I sent because I sent 3 of them, and it's called Unwritten, and it's the first love poem I have ever written, and well, here it is. Unwritten. 1. I am not writing about your blue fingertips, cold froth against my skin that night of January. 2. Nor am I writing of the small horizontal scar on your nose tip, a memory of your first childhood home. 3. I do not write about your deep voice late at night, a warm bolt of tenderness that pierces through my shattered body. 4. Nor do I write of your ghost, a burst of amber light that silently haunts my empty bed. 5. I am writing of this thing I feel inside, this thing that fills my chest with fires that I do not know if I will ever be capable of extinguishing. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandra. And I do remember your poem because of the form in which you wrote it. And in the trouble I had trying to format it onto the page because I was like, it kept shifting all the numbers to the left hand side, but I think we got it. But it was very creative in it. I love the way it looks on the page. Thank you. I think everyone's gonna love it. It's a beautiful poem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Odilia Galvan Rodriguez.
Okay, well, I wasn't expecting to come up so fast, but let's see. I'm going to read one of these. I'm going to read the shorter one. It's called Welcome. Dappled, shadow shifting, close, ebb flow, power grows, shadow spell, magic, brilliant edge of things, power of a deep kiss, conjures balance, pregnant with purple blues. She feels at sea, unmoored. Stories in torn fire of the great river road. This is where the rescue folks come, shining. Wild rose, watch out for snakes. They'll steal your heart away without caring about pieces they've torn. He kissed the deer antler whistle, then blew for luck, his present calling for his past with her. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone in the festival.
Thank you, Odilia. Thank you so much. Okay. So I'm going to just go down the list and I'll read the names so that you can also just hear the names, whether they're here or not. Up next, Luis Alberto Urrea. Joe Reyes Boitel. Javier Fuentes Vargas. Kenneth Johnson. Robert J. Cavazos. Julio Serrano Echeverría. D. Allen. I thought I saw D. Allen. Unmute yourself.
I'm here.
Okay.
You're muted, D.
Is it my turn to perform?
Read your poem. Read one poem.
All right. Let me make this good and short. Only one poem of mine got accepted for this anthology, so I'm going to do that one poem. This is called Precipice. I will gladly say goodbye to the proven nightmare these past 4 years. The precipice on which I stand is crowded with eagerness, waiting on cures for both viruses, the one ailing bodies, the one extinguishing love. Smooth transition into another era, focus of everybody's endogenic wishes appealing even to my jaded self. When I close my eyes, I hear the popular song of What Now? And that poem was called Precipice from the new anthology, Boundless.
Thank you, D. Appreciate you. Up next, well, I'm going to read names. Juan Manuel Perez. Tamara Elkasi Coleman.
I'm here. I'm ready.
I hope I said your name right.
It's Tamara Al-Qaisi Coleman, but it's okay. It's a mouthful.
Thank you for letting me know how to say it.
Of course. I had 3 poems in the anthology. I will be reading The Raven, The Bayou, and The Willow. It's also the main poem of a collection of poems that I'm currently working on. So the Raven, The Bayou, and The Willow. When Mama came home from the hospital, her sisters whispered in the corner of the second benzina she brought into this house of sin. Your hands were so small they barely wrapped around my 8-year-old finger. The ravens flock to the old willow who breathes a sigh of relief when her favorite one is settled into her lance-shaped leaves. You used to watch the flood rain pour as the willow wept. Your name was Annabelle, and we lived on this house in the Brazos. Birds flying always reminds me of Poe, how I miss the little bird that perched on our willow, the river, the bayou, and the neighbor's boat before the flood came and washed it away. They said a swarm of birds flew into our house years after I left, and you found your soulmate drunk at the neighborhood bar at 19. Their feathers bloodied by glass, cracking beaks as they warned. You never could sit still. The day you died, I was walking the dog, weary of golf course bridges. They stand uneven on stone sustained by old rotten planks. Your face floated like the souls in Acheron's waters. I imagined Atropos cutting your thread as your body sunk to the bottom of the river. Thank you.
Thank you. And I guess for like, you can put the reactions if you know how to use them, or I know that some people do this to as a clap, right? That's pretty chill. Um, Up next, Jose Luis Garcia Herrera. Edward Schmidt Zorner. Marianne Peel. Lulu Rodriguez. Samuel Strathman. Mega Sood.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Edward.
Hi there.
Uh, I'm going to be reading my poem. Two of my poems were being accepted. I'm going to be reading my poem called Socially Acceptable. Where does your truth lie in the vast spectrum of audacity, lingering between the shades of the falsehoods and the sublimity? Does the shade vary as the potency of the truth gets diluted? As the concentration of the lie is dissolved, it churns a new mixture, a new potent, a tad bit stronger than the previous lie that has been gulped unanimously, not so jarring, soothing the throats of the naysayers standing on the brim, carefully selecting the shades of truth, picking the right shades which can sit comfortably in their long craning necks before they spat out the version which is a little tart, a truth not so sweet, but socially acceptable. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you, Mega. Appreciate you. Up next, Ruben Pineda. Maritza Sara Luza Castillo. Ali Blanco. Taofik Ayeyemi. Megan Wildhood.
Yes. Hello.
Hi there.
Wildhood is correct. Okay, I had two poems accepted, and I'm going to read the one called Headstone. We are asked to peel potatoes. We are told to put the skins, which my sister can produce in a single spiral strip, into a dented metal bowl between us. We will save them for soup, I think. I do not think the popular thing is true. Death is not just a part of life. My sister finishes flaying her spuds, bounds off into the unmowed yard. It is harder than that. It is not as if life and death amicably separated like an out-of-love couple so that they may find more satisfying companions. Dad reaches inside for breath enough to call his youngest back, but she's off into the hay, the tresses of what's left of the day's light, blonde like mom was even up to this day last year. My sister will not remember. I will not outlive my grief. When mom laughed, she laughed from her soul, they said. I remember it like that now, growing in a room like the steam from her scrumptious kitchen magic. I will not outlive my grief. But maybe it is not impossible to live. Extremes can exist back to back. I give you the zebra. I give you sunset. I give you a naked potato clutched in accidentally sliced fingers. Dad is still looking into where his girl disappeared, past it now, to the yards of stones, displaying summaries of entire lives. Death is apart from life, he whispers, grazing the pain with his fingertips. It will always be as hard as that. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Laverne Spencer McCarthy. Jen Yanez Alanis.
I'm here.
Good to see you. Welcome.
Thanks, likewise. Oh, while you're doing that, I'll just say that this poem that I'm going to read, I Satisfy the Muse, was written a really frustrating night when I was determined to write, but couldn't seem to interact with my muse. Not quite me. Do you want me to go ahead and read it?
Yeah, are you on the screen?
No,
Hold
I
on.
can still read it.
No, hold on.
Okay.
I'm on speaker view and you're definitely on the screen, Jen, whenever you were talking.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't see myself, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, let me see. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and read it. Okay. I satisfy the muse, my songwriter of love, of death lilies and earth soil. He walks out of me, lands on the sheets scattered, pages strewn across the floor, demands attention when words muddle, when I refuse the reach, muddle, when my heart and my soul an angel refuse the beating. Life's yellow canaries caught in the jaws, feathers transparent at the edges, fleeting, those black curls and twisted backs that swirl their bodies like salivating cats, circling the ankles, waiting to be served, or men in single file who know that look in the eyes, recognize the ripe tone of skin flushed, the dewdrops that escape from the edges of lips and breasts that lift, that demand attention. My flesh manipulates this muse, calms his greedy tongue with these words I find daunting, words I craft to soothe, to sing out those tired fantasies of mermaids stranded on rocks, their pink mouths unhinged, salivating, waiting to be served, to be saved. Oh, those lullabies of lies that puff his chest with strokes of undulating love notes, flagrantly loosened from my throat, from my fingertips. I place his prize on the platter at the edges of his table, like Robusto cigars with heavy scented tobacco, soft notes of earth, sweet spice. I pour his whiskey into the beveled crystal. He is so easily satisfied.
Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
Dario Oliva. Pedro López Fernández. Sahili Cristia Lara.
Sailí.
Sahili, thank you. Thank you for correcting.
Me permito leer en español, creo que así va a ser más.
Y el poema es en español, ¿verdad?
Sí, sí. Se llama Pacto. No prometimos nada, porque los juicios varían, porque las palabras traicionan, porque deseábamos ser crucigrama. Era yo, eras tú. En el ilícito placer del que sin querer quisimos todo. Sonrisas, miradas, suspiros, culpables o inocentes, matizados al rojo bermellón, al amarillo de náuseas, sin coexistencia del negro, porque no se podían dejar manchas, no se permitían evidencias. Pacto sin pautas morales, sin cordura, golpe de cuerpos, de intimidades, esbozadas, enmarcadas en lienzo de soledad, ajenos al mundo, con tan poco, con tanto de nada, en simple grafitis de palabras, permanecemos. Gracias.
Yes. Muchas gracias. Nelson Eri Castillo y Nostroza. Stuart Stroman. Tali Cohen Shabtai. Christos Cialis. Don Webb. Laurie Culp. Tesozomok.
Hello there. I'm here.
Good to see you.
Thank you. And folks can catch me on my info that I put on the chat. I had two pieces accepted. One was The Foreigners of Forgiveness and Solastalgia. I'm going to read Solastalgia. I had dedicated this to Medea DeWitt and Nicole Masters, who've done incredible work around indigenous recovery from historical trauma. Solastalgia. It has to be more than a neologism, more than an emotional or an existential distress. It has to be more than the lived experience, more than the negatively perceived environmental change. It has to be more than the loss of 98% of your land base, more than 30 million whose trail of tears walked onto the Milky Way, the skyward road to the ancestors. It has to be more than the boarding school childish tears as they flay your culture like a skin, more than the animalization at the hands of your oppressor. It has to be more than the fog of mourning, more than what is intransitively already lost. It has to be more than the homesickness of post-traumatic stress, more than the anxiety of what is to be lost, a kind of pre-traumatic stress. It has to be more than the volcanic eruptions, more than the destructive strip mining. It has to be more than the quotidian homesickness, more than the distress caused by social change, beyond the persistent droughts of rural New South Wales, beyond the impact of large-scale open cut wounds of coal mining in the Upper Hunter Valley, beyond the loss of once predictable environment in BIPOC communities, beyond the interaction of society and community, social political ways, the experience of community, its loss of power over its well-being, the potent impotency, beyond BIPOC communities grounded in livelihoods tied to the earth and the weather, agrarians, fisher folk, and gatherers. But the higher income communities can quickly rebuild their homes after the destruction from a wildfire. Wealth can shield you from that anxiety. But wealth prevents your community from mountaintop removal, the toxic battery plant next to your golf course. The political power that wealth buys is preventive. The lingering influence of interpersonal violence, community conflict, family structures, economic status will determine the mental health and well-being. The chain of causation will show its slippage with psychosocial distress of emergency workers and first responders due to social community health deterioration, putting them in post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and panic. But we must move beyond the historical traumas, the intergenerational trauma, the persistent external and self-inflicted stresses of social, economical, institutional, judicial, and interpersonal. We must move beyond the stress of prolonged exposure to physical, mental, and spiritual oppression. We must not suffer these epigenetic changes to our progeny and lineage, the ghosts haunting future generations who are not sure why these afflictions are affecting them in known and unknown ways. Ultimately, we are 8% originated from viruses, more bacterial cells than human cells, mycelial and evolutionary, and finally, our quorum sensing can be triggered by Josman, the order of the earth at 5 parts per trillion. Thank you.
Great stuff.
Thank you.
Somebody wrote in the comments, beautiful and horrific litany of despojos.
Thank you.
Susan Justiniano, Rescue Poetics. And like I said, I'm reading off the names that are in the anthology, not necessarily because they're here or not, but just so you know the names. Some of you might recognize them. Mahatma Solis. Rosa Mendoza Valencia. Paul Pineda. Héctor Limón. Doctora Matilde Sarmiento Arizbalzaga. Endaba Sibanda. Ignacio Ibarra. Danny P. Barbary. As Cold Skalski. one of our editors, Sarah Joy Thompson.
Okay, I'm here. The piece I'm going to read is called Forest Born Under Sky Dreams. When the early whispers of autumn fly gaily through our home on the wind strings, in small delicate symphonies, we spill our bodies on the bed, crawl between freshly washed cotton sheets, and twist our limbs into unorganized knots. We nibble on the last of our summer frenzies, memories of berry picking in warm July and August, trying to taste the garden fresh, sweet juices of the raspberries, blueberries, blackberries that burst on our tongues between teeth and roused taste buds. But before we swallow autumn's bounty, hot spiced ciders, baked goods with cloves, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, before the fall gives her delicate presents, floods of cinnabar, fire opal, honey topaz, to the rolling forest along Skyline Drive, backbone of Shenandoah National Park. Let us kiss with our words in bed until our tongues are tickled and pulsing. Let the moans escape from our lungs, vibrating into the shadows of the year's last summer nights.
Thank you, Sarah. And if you all have books, websites, and you all want to connect, go ahead and put them in the chat. I know it might be a lot of people putting stuff, but you never know. You may make some great connections, and I suggest you guys do that. Get connected. Sarah Joy Thompson is one of our Flower Song Press authors, and I'm going to vouch for her book. Driving into Black Mountains is one of the most beautiful reads I've had the pleasure of uh, publishing and reading. I told her it was a healing when it came to me, and it's wonderful. I think everyone should check it out. Esther M. Garcia. Dusan Pejakovic. Stephen Shui.
Hello. Yeah, that's Steve Schwei. I had 2 poems accepted, so thank you. The one I'm going to read is from 13 months ago, so it was really when the pandemic was in its early stages. Pathogen pause. As we attempt to glide past each other in a supermarket meeting of the aisles, we both pause to keep our distance, a medically designated 6 feet or more. We dare not touch or breathe the same air. I try to navigate to avoid anything close, like a robot with vision sensors, seeing the people around me like objects, pathogen bearing, potentially lethal carriers that must be avoided. I used to gravitate to people, even willing to hug, hold hands, or soften with a kiss. But now I evade like the plague-ridden, malicious temptresses they are. In the grocery store, we both hesitate, our carts caught in the pathogen pause, where any movement forward can only be attempted if there's a safe path. We used to smile, but now we're tense, both trying to escape the creeping contagion. Thank you.
Thank you. And let me get your name right. Shui?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Allison Wittenberg. Jamie Santomaso. Mark Blickley. Yu Swan Wu. Stephen Douglas Wright. Krzysztof Dabrowski. Raúl Sánchez. Tom Murphy. Trev Wainwright. Carlos Cumpian. Paloma Martínez Cruz. Michael Rothenberg. Eduardo Rosero. Barbarella de Acevedo. Ana Forest Tamayo. Take off your mute, Ana.
I got it. Did I get it?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to read a sonnet in both Spanish and English. New day dawn. The wind chimes quelled with leaden silence. The stars shone glory in their pre-dawn dusk. My footsteps rustled, crunched the tumbled leaves briskly crackling beneath the ever overhanging eaves. The wolf dog sniffed the stillborn air, searching for his morning prey. Of course, he knew he had no chance of darting past, pouncing on that rabbit ambling o'er the trellis fast, or the squirrel scampering up the tree limb. The quiet of the morning air lay thick as fog descending, yet soon the sun would break its silent inkwell, would streak its loveliness in streams of joy and warmth, reminding me that even when year's toil is heavy plight, these morning walks are miracles that flaunt a new day's flight. And in Spanish is el amanecer. This is an interpretation, not a translation, because translation is never poetry. If you don't understand Spanish, one of the things I always tell people is that they should just listen to the sound because it's music, and that's what poetry is. Las campanillas de viento sofocan el silencio brusco. Las estrellas brillan su gloria en el crepúsculo antes del amanecer. Mis pasos retumban, crujen las hojuelas caídas, desmoronándolas bajo los areleros colgantes. El perro lobo olfatea el aire muerto, buscando su presa matutina. Por supuesto, sabía que no tenía chance de fugarse, abalanzándose sobre el conejo que ronda por el enrejado, o la ardilla que corrotea por la rama del árbol. El silencio que sopla en la mañana se espesa como la amenorada niebla, pero pronto el sol despertará su tintero silencioso, lucirá su belleza en corrientes de gozo y calidez, recordándome que cuando los años son difíciles, estos paseos de madrugada son milagros alardeando la primera luz. Thank you.
Gracias. Qué bonita ventana atrás y sus plantitas.
Gracias.
Where are you?
I'm in North Texas, in Keller, Texas. It's a suburb of the Dallas, it's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay, great. Well, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Soren Ramsey. Marisol Adame. Edward Yosniel Pájaro Peña. D. Ellis Phelps. Gabriel González Núñez. Dr. Carmen Tafoya. Daniela Pérez Taborda.
Aquí. Hello, I hope you are well. Voy a leer mi poema en español y en inglés. The heart is a sword of beasts that run from the smoke looking for a point of light. But the shadows appear and the words go away in the fear of not finding honey in the deep. The darkness gilds of the whisper of the fly. D is true to the heartbeats. It won't always be honey. Also, other liquids will stand the forms, while others will spring from this sun star. Y ahora en español. El corazón es un enjambre de abejas que huye del humo buscando un punto de luz, pero aparecen sombras y las palabras se marchan ante el miedo de no hallar miel en lo profundo. La oscuridad se ciña al rumor del vuelo, ata su verdad a los latidos. No siempre será miel, también líquidos ocres curtirán las formas, mientras otras brotarán de astros distantes. Muchas gracias, thank you.
Gracias, Daniela. Milton Jordan. Gigi Hesterberg. John Johnson. Loretta Diane Walker.
I'm here. I had 3 poems accepted. The poem that I'm going to read tonight is entitled Ways of Looking at Your Hands When COVID is the Conductor. And I want to say I am honored. I have loved the readings, and I am so honored and proud to be a part of this collection. Where is the woman in the long silk gown? The one with rose-colored rouge on her face and a morning-colored diamond winking from her right ear. The one who chases music through millennia. There's a concert in the small hall of my hands. I perform on the 2 brown stages, the dissonant music of splash and swish as I robustly rub dial antibacterial soap into my skin. The incessant washing and use of hand sanitizer bleach my palms like O'Keeffe's cow skulls, exposes every line life has etched into my hands. Once, I thought they were some instrument of clutching and releasing. Hands cannot be deceived. They know the ritual of becoming. Today, I write the grackle story, the way they congregate before dawn or after sunset on tree branches, wires, or roofs, fill the air with their song and cow. Citizens scream for their silence and dissonance, but do not celebrate resilience in their iridescent feathers. They are blackbirds too, just like me. Am I afraid of my own story, of the ones who despise my Blackness? Is resilience a weapon, a helmet, a fist? I stare in the cup of my hands, see no shadows. This hidden darkness is everything I want to crush. I want to hold fast to all colorful things that make me a Black woman. Thank you.
Thank you, Loretta. It was great listening to your poetry during the Lamar University press reading. And it's great to hear your poetry again today for the Boundless reading. I appreciate you. Up next, one of our featured poets, Sandy Sudi from India.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. As most of you are probably in the US, it's morning here, but let me not waste too much time. Edward, I just have a question. I'm not so sure if all the pieces I sent got accepted into the anthology. So I'm just picking up one that I sent you. And because life is so fragile, I'm just going to dive in right. The fragility of life is so full of experiences and moments of utter vulnerability and insane courage. And most of you poets have that. Most days it's a journey of actualizing, that you are a soul on earth for a human experience. So there are only two constants in life, really, when you look at it, change and death. And everything in between is placed to engage you in its experience, in the human experience of the soul, to understand the transient nature of the world, to make the best of it, and believe in the stillness that we are blessed with in little breaks until our final stillness. So that was the entire idea of this piece, and it's called Be Still. Empty whispers in bated breath, forming wisps of life in air. Did I breathe lonely close to death, half awake, half dreaming, in anxious despair? Dream, be still. In the haze of the abandoned damp alley, stench of fear crawled, crept from the gutters deep. Friendly they came, all dressed to shout and rally, between the devil and angel, my time to keep. Listen, be still. Flashes of childhood, days of blazing glory, sweet nothings on swings and walls, wistful love and heartbreaks, my precious story, running through the doors and study halls. Ache, be still. Gushing with pride, adorned with medals galore, courage and fear on a battlefield roll. Never was it enough, life always wanted more. Shot in a dark causeway, death rings my knoll. Pride, be still. When they find me, I will be history. Never stood a chance to say goodbye. Pointlessly mugged, my death a passing mystery. Left struggling, gasping, bleeding, I slowly die. Dead, now still. Thank you, everyone. And it's been wonderful listening to you all.
Thank you, Sandy. Erika Elisa Garza Tames.
Hello, hola a todos. Les voy a leer mi poema en español. Se titula Sandunga. Me llaman Sandunga, como la canción favorita de Frida. Me gusta bailar. Soy una mujer llena de alegría. Rompo corazones al pasar. Tocan a mi puerta, pero no los dejo entrar. Me escriben canciones, poemas y cartas. Soy música profunda, de la que sabe amar, de la de marimba. No paro de cantar. Me llaman ingrata cuando solo doy amistad. Soy buena amiga. Sé escuchar y consejos dar. De cumplidos soy agradecida. Cierro los ojos cuando no debo mirar. Soy única, nunca perfecta. Simplemente soy auténtica. Soy de mi vida arquitecta. Soy yo misma. Si a alguien le molesta mi carisma, que se mueva, que no estorbe mi caminar. Seré sandunga hasta el final. Gracias. Thank you.
Gracias. Vanessa Caraveo. Jocelyn Mejia Garcia.
I'm here, thanks. The counting dance. Wedding is searching, searching suddenly. The woman understands something for which she had no search. Out comes the light to place everything within brackets, to say that with she ever needed. Wanted queen cycled of remarks, tell who I was, who I am, around in circles, decline spines, and ends out where it began. Flying lips, mother of pearls, bottoms, land of no miracles, craving for water. Woman, part from the amphora and dance upon the solitary plain. Ahora voy a leer mi poema en español. Danza del trasiego. Esperar es buscar. Buscando de repente, la mujer entiende algo que ella no había buscado. Sale la luz para ponerle el mundo entre paréntesis, modelar lo que siempre había necesitado. Reina lastimada, ciclo de réplicas, di quién era yo, quién soy. Gira el barro en círculos y acaba donde empezó. Hojas a raudales, botones de nácar, tierra sin milagro sedienta de agua. Mujer, derrama el ánfora y baila en la llanura solitaria. Muchas gracias. Thanks.
Gracias. Silvia Sánchez Garza. Sandra Dolores Gómez Amador. Jules Schumann. Candice Luisa Daquin. Okay, thank you, Sandra. Kara Hollowell. David Place. Julie Mata.
I'm here.
Did I pronounce your last name right?
Es Mata.
Mata. It's double.
Sí, doble T, double T. So my poem is My Dream, The Two Sides, and I'm just gonna read it. Language. A mother tongue with a father spirit. Color. The notion that I should always know my place. Nicknames. Mi amor. Mi reina. Mi vida. Spick. Wet back. Beaner. Go back to where you belong. Go back to where you belong. Go back to where you belong. To be Latin is to have no identity. From the moment I was born, I was every woman. A bridge between opportunity and oppression. But when a little girl that is every woman tries to be her own, she can't. She doesn't know how. I was a wild child. Never had a bloody nose nor a broken bone, yet the parts of my brain are left with this kind of red stain. Back to where you belong. Go back. You. Ni de aquí, ni de allá. I'll never know my ancestors, yet their blood will stay with me forever. The forever home filled with suffering, pain, hope, and dreams. I never talk from a place of comfort, only to provide it for another. To know two languages is a blessing and a curse. To have the pride to stand between a border, this is homegrown love. I am Latina, Africana, francés, indígena, árabe, italiana, y mucho más. Nanti, mother, the ground. Tata, father, my name. A woman who can conquer not through division, but through unity, because she is neither black nor white, because it is simply not that easy. She is the color of café con crema. She is the color of wheat. She is us. She is our name. She is unity that can bring together nations. She is every woman. She is herself. She is here. And she's not going anywhere. Thank you.
Powerful. Thank you. Kai Coggin. Kamala Platt. Linda Romero.
I'm here. Okay, my poem is called A Love Like That. And I'm just going to start reading. I was told by my brother to transcribe your life, record your voice, and write a book and leave it for the children I would never have. And several Thanksgivings ago, we tried. Your memory stuck in a loop. The importance of education, the army, and World War II, not making way for what came between then and marrying mom. But you did tell your stories, not meant for us. In meeting after you took your last drink more than 50 years ago, stories that belonged to a man we never knew. But traces of that man still remained until you took your last breath. Because you told my mom never to wake you by touch. And I still remember the sound of your nightmares. But I also remember hearing her laughing You had come up behind her, turned her gently in a kiss as she made dinner. I wonder how a love like that is captured. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Mark Esperanza. Noel Bella Miriam. Stan Rains. Moriana Delgado. P.W. Covington. Jonathan Fletcher. M. Anthony Miranda. Caitlin K. Howard. Kathy Trenfield Rains. María Eugenia Trillo. Laura Andrea Vázquez López. Kim Denning.
Hi. Okay, so I had 2 poems selected for the anthology, and I just wanted to say that I feel incredibly honored to be included amongst all of these incredible, incredible writers. And the one I'm about to read is inspired by an historia I heard about my great-grandfather who had land stolen from him when he was young. And after that, he never put up with any crap ever again. And also, Xochipilli is the Aztec god of games and flowers, and he's the guardian of departed souls, among whom are warriors who rise as hummingbirds. So the name of this poem is Xochipilli. Xochipilli in stone, my great-grandfather in silvered emulsion, soul of defiance, snatched by photo, and down-turned mouth, eyes seeking eternity, cheekbones reaching sky. Welcoming, posturing, come, gringo, take my land. Your progress yields crops that burn in our vessels of clay. I entice you with festivals and flower halos, enrapturing you in intoxicating bindings, sunned skin, tongue of gods, vines imbued with provocation, and unconquerable sangre fria. Warm to sludge, my resins bear down, forcing your feet, casting off your trespassed loiter over time. Through ancestral awakening and feathered progeny, Xochipilli haunts, generations rise in altered smoke. Hummingbird warriors quicken in our mirrors, waking to ofrendas, stained by limpias of fire, recuerdos dripping mezzo blood. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for being a part of the festival for the entire time. It was great seeing you at all the workshops and readings. Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you for welcoming me into this beautiful space.
Thanks, Kim. Ritika Shan Bergfeld.
Hi, thank you all so much. I'm also honored to be here and to be included. I had 3 poems that were selected. They are love of land, love of man, queer angst, and Ready or Not is the third poem, and that's the one that I'm going to read for you tonight. Ready or Not, it's short. The staff lined up to say goodbye, their eyes trailing the taut white sheet, laying over dried lips, a chest that won't rise, zipped in a heavy gray plastic sack. Their sad eyes eventually landed on mine. Some gave hugs, more for them, I thought. Held on too long, squeezed too tight. But now the memory of faces, blurred bodies, bestowing kindness, exuding warmth, life in his absence yields a quiet refuge that rises and falls. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeffrey L. Taylor.
Say that you're here. So
I'm here, Edward.
wait till you show up.
We can hear you, and you are on the screen for everyone.
Okay. I don't see me, but I'll take your word for it. The cat has passed on from its lying down place under the hedge through the receiving line of neighborhood children, taking its place among the ofrendas, calaveras y calenduras on the altar. Dia de los Muertos. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Tori Hicks.
Wonder why we couldn't see.
Hey y'all. Like a few of y'all have been saying, I'm just really honored to be among all these really wonderful writers. I'm really blown away. And I think I'm like here at the end, and I got to hear the rest of y'all just blow me away.
I think you froze.
But I'll just read it. How to survive the family curse. Intel. Interview your mother, first of all, whose mind is still sharp. Obtain medical records regarding hospital stays, medication, and dosages. Anecdotes will suffice in a pinch. Cross-reference your strain against theirs. Note the similarities and differences. Use or lose their survival strategies. What works for one may not work for another. Action plan. On your fridge, list the important numbers. Suicide hotline, best friend, weed dealer. Hide notes for yourself in boxes, in the inside of cabinet doors or your car. Suggested phrases include, but are not limited to, smile, take your meds, your cat would miss you, have you called your friends lately? Find a therapist in your city or even online. Note, not effective if you don't attend, tune out their advice, or don't move on if their help isn't helping. Execution. Hug your cat. Open the window for as long as you can manage. Take a shower. Eat, even if it's frozen or take out. Remember that you are worth keeping alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Tori. Enedina Irene. I hope I said that right. Valeka Cruz. Oh, they're mad. Ernesto Dueñas. Fabrice Pausin. Daniel Frini. Guadalupe Mesa Servín. Our founder, Daniel Garcia Ordaz.
Thank you, Edward. Thanks, everyone. I know the Oscars are on, but thanks for joining us here. I'm gonna go ahead and read. I'll put the title in the chat just because it's a little bit odd, but it's definitely, I wouldn't call it too experimental, but it was definitely experimental for me. We started with a blackout exercise and then created a golden shovel poem out of it. And then in the spirit of Paulo Freire's teachings, I went ahead and he encourages to reinvent, right? So I went ahead and reinvented all of this into a haiku. So every, the stanzas are a haiku. And I use the word obviously, not because anything is obvious, big no-no for a poet, but only because it's part of the golden shovel, right? So it's one of his original sentences. This is freedom. Freedom, obviously, reality dictates that teaching young learners reading is not just eagerly waiting for an epiphany word. Everything is not inherent. Reading the world and the word, true lit, is rarefied air. Wanton waves of struggle, mispronunciation, latent letters trip readers, but patterns emerge. Illiteracy sloughs off. New creature born. Development takes time. Literacy is praxis, not lone skill. Conversation awakens heart revolution. Anti-oppression, abhorrent to ignorance. Critical reading capacity is the ultimate goal. A reinvention free from colonialism. Youth grow in literacy. This is freedom. This. Thank you.
Gracias, Daniel. Thank you very much. And we're getting towards the end. I know a couple of people came in towards the end, and I just want to make sure I got everyone that's here, that's in the anthology, has read. I'm going to read the last names that I have here, and if I don't call you, it's a long list, and I might have just skipped it, but you can just write me on the chat here and tell me if you haven't read. Tejaswini Patil. Lucinda Zamora Wiley. Nelson Eric Castillo Inostroza. I thought I saw him here a little bit ago. He was one of the ones that came in at the end. Stephen Wright.
Yep, I'm here. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, let me put you on speaker view. Okay.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, I've got my video going here now too. Cool. So yeah, thank you for doing this. I'm coming to you from Taiwan. This is a poem I wrote called Don't Speak My Name When I Am Gone. So, don't speak my name when I am gone. Your tears would scar the earth. Eliminate the starred sky. Eviscerate the dirt. Don't speak my name when I am gone. Your cry would dry the sea. Split atoms into empty heat through salty gravity. Forget my name when I am gone, the sound that held me whole. vibrating streams of syllables by bells bellowing toll. Forget my name when I am gone. Forget you ever heard the music that composed my life embodied in that word. So dry your eyes to save the skies, preserve the whirling world. Don't speak my name when I am gone, to let creation still unfurl. Cool, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All the way from Taiwan. What time is it over there, Stephen?
Oh, it's about 11:04 a.m.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. I don't think anyone else told me or raised your hand. So I think I didn't call for any of the youth poets because I didn't announce it to them to come on to the reading tonight. We're going to have a separate reading. But if there's anyone from the youth anthology that's here, you're more than welcome to read. Because I know word gets around. Like Shock G said, he gets around. Or Tupac. No, I think we're good. Right? I think everyone read. Well, it was wonderful. Daniel, you have any last words?
Just again, I know that some of y'all are from all over the world, wherever you're at. I know some of you are up quite late or quite early, and I can't thank you enough for that. It just says a lot for the power of poetry. During COVID, we saw how all of us turned to art. We turned to certainly to Netflix and so on, but also to music and to art and to poetry, to culinary arts. I mean, all the healing arts. I mean, all the arts, right, speak to us in so many ways. And so here we have a great representation. Can't thank you all enough for being part of it. And we're honored to share the screen with you. And this time is love, right? And so thank you so much for spending time with us. And we very much look forward to continued virtual events as well as connecting through in-person events. Invite us. We might, we're way down here. We love road trips. Okay, so you never know when we might show up. Throw a couch at us and some coffee. We might actually get crazy enough to get some gas and go meet where you are. So again, shout out to Edward and the co-editors of Boundless and all that you did for such a round of applause for Edward. Y'all, excellent job with the whole weekend. So thank you so much to you and your family.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't possible without my family here helping me out in giving me the energy, the support. Otherwise, it'd be a little difficult to do that. I want to thank everyone who participated in other events. Thank you for being part of the festival. To those of you who registered, thank you very much. I'll be sending an email out to all the anthologized poets, all of you, and letting you know, giving you more information on ETA on the book, so you all know. And for those of you that are out of the country, I'll also make sure that you all get a book as well, so that you guys can see this. It's going to be a great book. But again, thank you for being part of the 14th annual Rio Grande Valley International Poetry Festival. It was, I believe, a success. I believe it was wonderful. We had poets from all over the world, and we look forward to planning 2022. And yeah, until next year, which comes by pretty fast. Hopefully, we're all still here. We all have the energy. We all have our health, and we continue with our poetry. But follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on all social networks, and you can see. We'll try to have workshops between now and the next Poetry Festival, and follow us at flowersongpress.com as well, so you can see our up and coming new releases, our forthcoming poets as well. We have poets that are part of the festival that have books already, and those that are forthcoming as well. And it's a good time to be a poet. It's a good time to be part of a healing art always. So thank you on behalf of Daniel Garcia Ordaz and Brenda Riojas, and the Rio Grande Valley. I wish you all a good night and a great rest of the year. Take care. Thank you.